Hi guys. Today I wanted to record a video to talk about my COVID update. I think it's been a week since my last video, and I forgot that I had my discharge papers from the hospital. So I wanted to go into detail and talk about what my diagnosis was in regards to the symptoms I was having, and that way if you guys are going through something similar, you can see that it's common, or if you want to look something up, because they do have really difficult terms. I did look some of these up because I was concerned. I didn't know. I mean, when I left the hospital, I honestly was really out of it. I left the hospital on November 8th, and it was already like lunchtime by the time I got out. So I was like starving. I was completely out of it. It felt so surreal, being out in the real world, almost like I had gone to prison or something. I was locked away. And it felt like that for a few days. Honestly, I was really out of it. I didn't feel normal. And I just felt like strange, almost like a zombie. I kept telling my husband, I'm like, I feel so weird. Like, I feel like a zombie, like I'm just going through the motions of the day to make it. So I didn't really pay too much attention to my discharge papers. And, so I was released on, November 8th. So, today is December 5th. So in 3 days, it's going to be a whole month. It feels like a lot longer, honestly, that I've been out. Maybe this month just was very long. I will talk about my update, about how I'm feeling as well. Excuse the background music. My husband's playing music, like always. Anyways, so these are my discharge papers. Let me just show you really quick. So right here, it says my name, and then it says the discharge diagnosis. Right there, discharge diagnosis. Sorry guys, it's backwards. I could probably flip the camera and that would help, right? But let me go over it. So it says reason for admission: fever, cough, sore throat, body aches, and fatigue. Tested COVID positive on October 25th. I was admitted November 2nd. And then it says I only stayed 6 days, but I'm assuming that's because I left like midday on the 8th. But it's about 7 days. Acute. Oh, okay. So now I'm on the discharge diagnosis. It says acute hypoxemic respiratory failure due to COVID-19. Now, when I read that, I honestly, the words respiratory failure really scared me, Like, I knew that I was struggling breathing, and that's why I went to the hospital. And I knew that that's why I was on oxygen 24/7. But I just, I never really thought that I was that serious. I never thought that I was that close to getting intubated. But just reading those words, it made me realize how serious things were and how serious my condition was. And it honestly made me even more grateful that I was able to get out of that situation. So that's the first diagnosis. The second one is dysuria. And if I'm not mistaken, it's spelled Dysuria, if you're wondering. If I'm not mistaken, I googled that one, and that one was where my liver was already getting... Oh no, that was the last one. I have to look this one up. So it says dysuria. I have to Google it again. And then next to it, it says hypokalemia. I believe that one of those two was where my potassium levels were super low. I know I have mentioned in the previous video that the second day I was there, they gave me like 4 bags of potassium. And the first 3 bags burned like hell. Honestly, my arm felt like it was on fire. So, I don't know which one of the two it was, but I think I mixed them up. And then the next diagnosis is sinus tachycardia, which means rapid heart rate. And the last one is transaminitis, and that's spelled Transaminitis. And that one, I believe, is the liver one. So when I saw that one and I Googled it, that one scared me because the doctors did not mention anything to me in the hospital that my liver was inflamed. They didn't mention or ask me if I was, taking too much Tylenol or ibuprofen. But in the definition, it did say that it could be due to alcohol or excessive medication. And I was thinking back, I'm like, okay, I had, a lot of really serious symptoms. What was I taking over the counter that could have probably caused my liver to be inflamed? And then I just remembered, well, I had a fever for 9 days straight. So I was taking a lot of ibuprofen. And when I wasn't taking ibuprofen, I was taking Tylenol. And sometimes I would take them, like 3-4 hours apart because they were not breaking the fever. And maybe I could have been over medicating myself with the pain reliever and the fever reducers. So that's why I think maybe the doctors didn't ask me, because in the blood work, everything came out what I was taking, and so they probably know from the blood work that I did have a lot of ibuprofen in my system. So the discharge papers were very brief. I was, like I said in the previous video, I wasn't given any medication when I was discharged. It just says so for my oxygen, it says flow rate of 4 units for the oxygen. And I was very disobedient because, as I have mentioned previously, I have been off of my oxygen since the second day I was discharged. So I would believe that's November 10th. I just officially had decided, like, I'm so over this nasal dryness and bleeding, that I was over it, and ever since then I have not used it. And I feel like that's really pushed my body a lot, and I feel like that's what's helped me to feel better, even though it's been a really slow process. Because I feel like if I would have continued to use the oxygen, I would probably still be very dependent on it. And honestly, that's not my goal. But I do know that I could be doing more damage to my heart or to my lungs without really meaning to. So I'm hoping that's not the case. So a little quick update on how I've been feeling and maybe my medical attention. So I've been feeling better in some ways, and in other ways I feel the same. So I know I had previously mentioned that I was feeling like tingling in my hands and feet for like the first 2 or 3 weeks, and that has since then gone away. I do no longer feel that. And that was if I was walking, sitting, standing, my feet and my fingers were just like tingling, like if they were about to go numb, and they were always cold. But that has already gone away. And I just noticed like randomly a few days ago, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I haven't felt that sensation in a while. I'm like, I guess it went away and I didn't really even notice. But I think it's probably not been more than like a week and a half since I stopped feeling it. I've noticed that I'm able to shower without feeling like I'm about to faint or, pass out. I don't have to, rest or like lean on the wall to catch my breath anymore. I also don't feel as out of breath when I'm walking. I can walk a longer distance, but I can't walk in a rush. So I can walk like, like 4 houses down, and I feel fine as long as I'm not, in a rush. I mean, I can't imagine if I would power walk how tired I would feel. But like at a slow pace, my own pace, I feel okay. Like I still have to monitor my breathing, and my oxygen still does go down, but I don't feel like I'm shaking, Like I was going places and I felt like I was shaking. I felt like I was just so out of it. And now I'm feeling like, okay, I can do this. I can walk longer, and I just need to monitor my speed so that I don't get out of breath and like super out of oxygen. And another way I've noticed is that I'm just feeling, like I'm able to notice a difference in my body, like I'm not as tired. I'm able to stand and wash dishes now. I'm able to take my kids a bath. That's something that I was not able to do like the first 2 to 3 weeks, I would say. I just started taking them a bath like a week ago, and I'm sitting, taking them a bath. It's just when it comes to like getting their, pajamas ready and getting everything I need to get them to bed, that's when it just hits me so hard, and like bending down and getting back up and then going back and forth from one room to the next. I can't. That just literally, my oxygen drops to like 80. So I always tell my husband, like, okay, I'm going to take them a bath, but you're going to help me, walk them to their room or carry them to the room and get them ready, because then I just feel so exhausted. And it shows because my oxygen's like at 80, 81. And then I start having like a cough attack. So I try to limit those type of activities where they're really agitating still, because I've seen that they still really agitate me. There's not really many other things that I've been doing. I still don't drive. I feel like if my oxygen is still like dropping, it's not really safe for me to be driving, although I could probably drive like to the pharmacy. It's literally like a block away, or to my kids' school, but I kind of just feel like I can't be in a rush, because like if I have to walk my son to his school in a rush and then I walk back to the car in a rush, like by the time I get to the car, I'm just, totally coughing. My oxygen's low again, and I just need like time to to get back to normal. Especially I've noticed, like, I go to stores, to shop, and I started with the idea that I was going to use the wheelchair, but I felt like people are going to think, oh, she's like, young and she's freaking lazy. So I didn't want to do that, and I just, like, the first few weeks, I just like pushed the cart very slow. And like, I remember the first time I went to the store, like, I literally walked in one little section of the store and I was just like, I'm done. Like, I cannot walk anymore. And then I was just like so out of breath, even just to pay at the register. And then I just so out of breath to walk to the car, even though I was literally going like one step at a time, like a turtle. I was just beat. Like, my oxygen was low. I was like panting, like if I ran a mile. Now I do feel like I'm able to walk more in the store, but like I said, I have to be going slow at my own pace, and I really just have to be, not in a rush, and just really taking it at my own speed, because I cannot keep up with anybody. However, I've noticed that once I've done like shopping in one store, that's why I don't drive, because I feel like, well, by the time I get to the car, I'm just like so out of breath. I don't want to focus on driving. I just want to focus on breathing and like getting back to like my normal oxygen levels, because I honestly just feel like I'm so tired. Like, we have flea markets here in our cities, and the one in our actual city that we live in is small. It's like only 3 rows of like people selling things. So I have gone once, and that was last week, and it was doable. I was a little bit out of breath trying to keep up with my husband, but I also feel like it's so hard for me to wear a mask and walk. And then if I have to walk fast, like, forget it. I'm like gonna pass out. So I remember I went with my husband, and we have to wear a mask even though it's outside, like just for precautions. And I was just like telling him, like, I feel like I'm suffocating. Like, I cannot get good oxygen with the mask on. Sometimes I like literally like go like this just so I can get some fresh air through my nose. I feel like I'm suffocating with the mask. Like if somebody's just like going like this to me. And it's because like my oxygen's already low. I'm struggling. And then on top of that, I have to wear a mask. Like, I honestly feel like I'm suffocating. That's why I try to, if I go and do an activity where I have to wear a mask, like keep it really brief, because then I'm just so exhausted because I'm like pushing myself, I'm pushing myself to the limits here. So, that's pretty much it. I mean, I feel like I'm taking it a day at a time. I still have a lot of dryness in my nose. I still blow it every morning and every night. And I use this nasal spray to kind of like moisten the area and, clear it out. That's been helping me, but I still haven't healed completely from the damage that the oxygen did. What else? I still can't take a complete deep breath. If I do, I still feel like dryness. This is like a shallow breath, but if I do a deep breath, I feel something in my chest, and I feel like my lungs are stiff. Like I feel dryness and stiffness, almost like if my lungs have scar tissue or like dryness. I actually went last week. What's it, last week or like almost 2 weeks ago, to do my x-ray. And now I want to cough. I went to go do my x-ray, and then I was waiting for them to do the referral for the CT scan, and then their machine broke. So then they had to refer me somewhere else. Long story short, I have an appointment this week for a CT scan, and that's why I haven't scheduled another follow-up with the doctor. So I'm hoping that I can do the CT scan this week and then schedule an appointment with my doctor by early next week. I'm pretty scared because they told me that I needed to get an IV just to do the CT scan, and I feel like that's a little bit extra, but that's how they did it in the hospital, and that was my first time getting it, so I really wasn't aware of what goes on in a CT scan. And then they're still referring me to the lung specialist. I have to travel 40 minutes to an hour away just to go to the lung specialist, and they're really booked. So it might take me, I have an appointment scheduled January, but I'm gonna try to get seen at the one that's like 40 minutes away. And they said that if the doctor writes stat on my referral, that I can go and be seen within 2 to 3 weeks. So I'm hoping to do that. And then the heart specialist, the cardiologist, he's only like 15-20 minutes away from me. But I have to call and schedule an appointment for that. I believe they were waiting for the referral though. I don't know, the girl at the clinic, she just wasn't doing her job, and it's been lagging my referrals and having all these issues with like things not working, or long waits for an appointment or for me to be evaluated is not really convenient for me. Anyways, well, I'll let you guys go. That's just a quick update. Bye.